morning. You can put it in the lasagna tin, make it thick or thin, and do it your way. When you make bechamel and you add cheese as well, it's a morning.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Good evening. You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir, talking all things food. Each week we feature different guests, from lecturers, doctors. We even have an ex-BA cabin service director coming in, giving us the intel on that, which I'm very excited about. And if any of my listeners know someone from the Highfields Examination Board, please do get in touch. We'd love to have them as well. We always host the best chefs in town, and tonight makes no exception. Mattys Chop Shop is in the house talking about my favourite subject, barbecue. Welcome to the show, Matty.
Hey, how's it going? You okay?
Before we get into the show, would you like to give your friends, family, loyal customers listening in a shout out?
Yeah, my wife, Lowry, my daughter, Rune, and my little 4-month-old boy, Red, and my family, my mum and dad, brother, sister, and all the people I've met in the past, 20 months who have just made my life a whirlwind of just, smoke and fire and, absolute carnage, but absolutely in the best way. Thank you to everybody, and thank you for your continued support.
Oh, that's lush. And I love the Welsh names, and your children's names are gorgeous.
Thank you
and
so
it's
much.
one of them's birthday?
No. So the 4 months old.
Oh, 4 months old.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow, congratulations. So you're battling a little baby and lots of barbecue, which is incredibly stressful, no doubt.
Barbecue and babies are very similar. They're both up early, both expensive. Taste brilliant with barbecue sauce.
Brilliant. Now then, let's hear the first track, which echoes the vibe of the Deep South, where barbecue and blues go hand in hand. So before barbecue for you, there was music. Tell us about your journey with music before barbecue.
Well, I was about 10 years old, and just like any parent wants to hear, hey mum and dad, can I play the drums? And so I had a few pots and pans for the first for about the first year, and I think it was a kind of, if you stick with this, then we'll get you a drum kit. So I saved all my pocket money. I went to Cash Generators on Albany Road, bought my first drum kit, which I still have today. And again, that was I'm almost 40, so 30 years ago. So and played 2 hours every night, and for the first 5 years I was utter rubbish, and I apologise to my parents. I'm living in Grangetown in a tiny little in the bedroom upstairs, and my drum kit got to the point where it was, you either keep your drum kit or you keep your bed. And I was like, right, okay, I'll sleep on the floor, I'll sleep on a mattress.
Dedication, come on.
So that's what happened pretty much. It was just, I always folded up, and then I'd move a few drums, lay on the floor, and that was it for a few years. And I think it was always going to be like, my parents always thought, it's going to be a phase. He picked up every other thing, so like drums is just going to be another one. So I stuck with it, and practiced, and was able to do some touring, get picked. If anyone knows a drummer, they're in 8-9 bands.
Oh,
so
I know.
it's just,
Drummers are like gold dust.
Yeah, so that kind of got me around the touring circuit. I toured all of the UK many times, Eastern Europe a few times, and that's kind of where I picked up a lot of my culinary kind of bits and bobs. I went to uni, and didn't really know how to cook, so I wasn't really cooking until I was maybe 19, 20.
Okay. Still young, mind? A lot of youngsters still don't know how to cook.
No, totally. And I think that was me. It was like, it was just going to be ramen, it was 10p back then. I think it's about £1.50 now. But it was 10p noodles, and I was just like, right, no one's going to cook for me, so I better start cooking. And then the people on my floor were kind of like, oh, this kid's cooking. Let's see if he can cook for us, because we were all students.
I hope my nephew's listening, because he spends way too much on takeaways.
Yeah, and that's literally what it was. So I was just like, right, okay, let's start cooking. And again, there was no YouTube then.
No,
you know, it
no.
was just, you know, going through old recipe books, going to charity shops and just finding anything. So it was just
Because
whatever
you've
you
never
could.
done a culinary school and you feel like you don't even need that. You're your own boss.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
don't have anyone telling you.
It was basically just teaching myself, doing a lot of stuff, and then it got to the point where I was like, right, I don't mind cooking for you guys, but you have to buy the food. So they were like, yeah, okay. So it was a win-win for me. They would pay
Yeah.
for it. I would cook it. We all got to eat.
What a way to go.
And then
yeah.
they started getting a bit silly with and they were like, oh, we want beef stroganoff, we want beef Wellington, we want all these coq au
putting you to
vin,
the
we want. So I was,
test,
and at first it was a joke, but then they were like, I was like, all right, I'll do that for you. So I started doing that. So I ended up kind of actually getting pretty good. And you know, barbecue has always just kind of been in the back. It was kind of self-preservation of going to people's places, and we've all had that kind of you know, black sausage and it's pink in the middle, and then you get a bad belly the next morning. So it was more self-preservation of like, let me see if I can cook it myself.
Exactly.
So yeah, it was kind of that, and I just took over every barbecue I went to then, and they got to the point where they wouldn't even get a chef in. They'd be like, oh, Mattys here, so we'll just do it.
Oh yeah.
So
I hope they paid you for your services.
well, again, I just got to eat for free.
Gotta
So
go,
again,
yeah,
it
it's the
was,
same thing.
and I know I look trim, but it's definitely a lot of food, and you know, I cook everything wrong, hundreds and hundreds of times to get it right. You know, so that's how being self-taught is. It's kind of
Exactly.
But through touring, I picked up a lot of cool kind of different ways of barbecue, different ways of cooking, different cultures, different flavors.
So
And
this is
that's
where your
kind
love
of
of barbecue grew from.
yeah.
How did that journey begin into seriously doing the barbecue?
I don't remember. Basically, I did a few shows, and we were playing festivals, and we had this little barbecue that was literally like a bin on the floor, and people would come up and say, oh, you can't have that, you're going to scorch the earth, it's a health hazard. So I was like, right. So the next festival we went to, I made this kind of circular, it was like a car wheel.
Oh wow.
With a stick and like an incinerator, which is still outside my place now. It's kind of like look at my intro, look at my beginnings, you know.
Yeah.
And it's still there, and it's rusty, and I still use it every so often. And it was basically like, a barbecue on a stick.
Wow.
And then people were like, I love that. Where did you get that from? And I said, I made it. So they were like, oh, can you do me one? So I made a few of them, and then I kind of was like, oh, let's look at the actual science and mechanics of smoking and actual barbecues to make it right. So it's not just fire in a pit, you know. So I kind of looked into that a bit, and they got a bit more sophisticated, and yeah, I just got
More
I built
expensive along the way.
I built bigger and bigger ones. I got like a big jerk barrel, and like all these different things that, you know, you realize that unless you're really fabricating properly, you kind of need the real stuff. So that's when I started going and buying the real stuff, which is where the money comes in, and you're like, right, okay, I've got to do something. And yeah, it was just the Mattys Barbecue Chop Shop has been a name for years. It was just a sign that was in my garden, just because I love the kind of garage meets barbecue.
Because you work from home, for some of our listeners.
Yeah.
You work from home, which is fantastic. I love the concept.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was, and again, it was, we did the house up, because we got married in the house. We
lush.
bought it off my parents, and instead of going to a venue and spending loads of money that we
why
probably
not?
would
Yeah.
never go to again,
we
were like, right, let's put it into the house. We got it painted. We did the garage out as like a 50s diner.
I love it.
And it was literally just to have a party. And that was in the October. And I still can't remember how we talked about it, but people were like, you've got to sell this barbecue. You got, you know, it really is something special.
make a
And I was like,
fortune.
okay. And then I dived in and was like, right, you've got to register the house as a business. You've got to get a food hygiene certificate. And they were asking me for all my certificates and stuff.
the
And I'd never,
allergens is quite a
and I'd
big
never
thing.
I'd never worked in kitchens. I'd never
I know.
did food prep. So I studied really hard, really quickly,
Yeah.
got all my certificates. And then, we aced it, got a 4, which is pretty difficult to get anyway.
Yeah.
And then,
It's
that
impressive.
was a year and a half ago. And everything kind of rolled kind of into that then, and it's kind of become the people's now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do all sorts. We do, we started doing takeaways, and that sold out for the first like 4 months, like pretty much in December.
I know you've exploded all over social media.
Yeah.
You've even caught the eye of Matt Tebbutt.
Yes.
That's amazing. Tell us about that.
Again, that was another kind of riding the wave of just whatever comes your way and just saying yes, you know. And you're always going to say yes to something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it was, I think it was a Wednesday morning. Got a message saying, "Hey, I'm the producer for Matt Tebbutt, as you do." So I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool. I've only been watching him forever, outside the kitchen." And they said, "Yeah, he's coming through to Cardiff, doing a few spots. We've heard that you're the place to go to."
What a
which again
feeling.
is even more mad.
Yeah.
That I just see myself as just a big kid who likes barbecue, living in
doesn't feel like
Penarth.
work to you. You just love it.
No, it just so I think the week later he was there, and I did a bit of I kind of showcased a little bit, so it was kind of like my classic tray stuff, which was like 9-hour slow cooked beef ribs, and then I did some of my fine dining kind of stuff. So we did like a pork belly with some like pickled apple, and so he just he loved it, and
It's incredible.
It's one of those where you just go, he's got to say that, but
you could see
afterwards,
really,
you could,
how could he not?
yeah,
Let's
and like
face
the
it.
comments, and like we've been talking a little bit back and forth, just because on TikTok they all blew up. We had like 60,000 views in the first 24 hours.
And not only that, you're constantly sold out. No one can get in on you.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to get in and taste it, do it now.
Yeah.
It's
And
ridiculously
again, I'm
booked
only
up.
one guy, like it's from
Exactly.
my house. I started everything in my oven,
Yeah.
like I didn't have all these big smokers that I've now been able to kind of get involved with. But that's just companies helping out and just reaching out and just going, "Hey, we love what you're doing. Try some of this seasoning. Try do these."
Okay.
So you kind of go, "Yeah, cool." You do try a lot.
Yeah.
I try and keep everything. I'll only work with companies that I really like. So I feel like I've got a kind of people are listening to me now. So if I just take anything, go, yeah, I'm working with these guys, your kind of credibility starts to
True,
lack. So
true.
everyone I've ever done a collaboration with, I did a donut with Donutters, because
Okay.
again, Cardiff staple.
Yeah.
And we did like a smoked bacon and pineapple drizzle.
Oh.
And it sold out pretty much overnight.
Yeah.
I've done pizzas, we've done burgers, we've done, because I'd rather showcase. I don't do burgers and stuff, so it's like,
But you're keeping up with all those street trends.
so
as well
so
as
it's like,
that.
and it's working with companies as well, local small businesses that.
Wow, you've
at
caught the eye of
first,
everyone.
yeah, at first I was just the nobody, with a couple of hundred followers, where now it's a whole different ball game, and people are listening to me, and they stop me in the street and everything. So it's kind of been insane.
Amazing.
And I'm just literally like, I'm waiting to wake up. I really am. Like it's just insane.
Before we talk about your brand next, let's hear another track.
Cool.
Welcome back to the show. We are with Matty from Mattys Chop Shop, talking all things barbecue, and our engineer is starving now. He's really starving. So how would you describe your barbecue style? Texas, Carolina, Kansas, or something else?
So the Chop Shop name came from like a garage where you'd kind of like Chop Shop would be like they'd Frankenstein a car together. So that's kind of what I do with barbecue. And there's a lot of places that you'll go to and they're only Texas style, they're only Korean style, they're only Portuguese.
Okay.
So and you go to those wanting those things where, because all the traveling I've done, I've kind of picked up a lot of tricks and techniques from places. And I just do what I think is that best kind of barbecue.
Yeah.
So, my pulled pork is kind of carnita style. So my ribs are Korean style. My beef ribs are kind of Mattys, like Welsh style. Just getting, got some good Welsh beef and kind of just getting all that kind of stuff in. So it's really all over the place. So, on a tray you'll have continental everywhere. It's just kind of,
That's
all types
incredible.
of stuff.
No one does that.
No, and it seemed like, again, it seemed to be, I'd always try and find what's not going on. So I scour the internet, I do a lot of research, and then I find what gaps are there and then try and fill those gaps.
Wow.
Which is how the fine dining came out of it. It was kind of like, I'd been to fine dining, I'm a big, I don't look it, but I'm a big fan of just kind of, I like being in places where I don't look like I deserve to be. And I'm like, I've got cash, I'm still good. I'm still good for it. So
Absolutely.
So I was kind of like, has anyone done barbecue but fine dining? And there's people who do like fine dining over fire, and there's some Michelin star chefs who have gone into barbecue or have gone the other way, have become barbecue and then gone into Michelin star kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, there seems to be a gap in the market.
Okay.
And again, so text me if I'm wrong, people. But no one that I could see was doing the kind of fine dining on the level that I was trying to get to. So it's basically, just using the barbecue techniques, but doing small plates, and that's what's blown up. You know, that's where I'm booked up until April on, and it's like every other Sunday, and it has been since last May. You know, and it's just sold out.
Oh, so you offer different menus on different days?
Yeah. So I started doing takeaways, and then that kind of the summer of last year, 2024, I was like, this is it. It's gonna blow up. I'm gonna make it, because it was never it was just a side project. It was never gonna be like, this is my job. It was just a hobby that I really enjoyed.
Oh, okay.
And it just kind of the summer dipped a bit, and I was just like, I was selling out, but just not as quick.
No, okay.
So I was like, oh, maybe that was it. Maybe that's my time. You know, whatever. We had a good time. And then I was like, right, maybe it's because it's the summer, people are doing their own barbecues. You know, they're going out doing something else. Yeah, you know, like they got the kids with them. So like all these things. So I was like, oh, you know, so I need to give them something that they want to come to me for. So the barbecue school kind of, I had a little idea for that. And it was like, if they're not coming to me, I could teach them how to be better at theirs. Because that's probably what I get the most of. I've got a X barbecue, I've got a this smoker, how do I work it? So and then they're not, you know, they're not cheap things. You know, they're spending $2 or $3 grand on stuff and then going, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So their partner usually gets a bit uppity with them. So I'm like, right, come in, I'll show you how to do it. And again, I don't know everything. I'm learning every day, but I know enough to kind of get me going and get people's ideas flowing. And
I mean, how many barbecues do you actually have in your garden? Go on.
Right. Again, they're all different ones. So I've got 3 smokers, all different shapes and sizes. Some electric, some.
You've got the green egg, is it, or the?
So I've got an egg. It's a pit boss, but so I've got the like a ceramic Kamado style.
Nice.
I've got a few kettles, which are kind of like your classic barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, if you draw a barbecue, you draw one of those, that kind of thing. A few grills, and you know, everything I teach you could do with 2 bricks on the floor and a grate.
That's
you know,
amazing.
like it's not really what you're using.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. You know, you can buy all these expensive things, but it really is the
Really?
technique you can do.
Okay.
You know, like because they've been doing it forever. They dig holes in the ground and do that way. So like, yeah, it makes it easier.
I'm coming to a class.
Yeah, it makes it easier to do all these things, but it really is just, you know, every single menu item has got either something that's been smoked, flash fried, you know, in a fire, or just kind of just use smoke and fire in some way. Which is where people then go, whoa, I didn't even know you could do that. You know, you're using charcoal to kind of smoke stuff right in front of people, and you don't need all these fancy gizmos and gadgets, because I bought them all, and some of them are great, some of them are not so great.
How hands-on is the class? Do you let people have a go, or do you just let them watch?
So they do a bit of everything. So we usually do, because most of the time people are there to kind of eat, you know, and they want to learn these things, but at the same time, through, you know, health and safety and cross-contamination, you've got to make sure everyone's, you know, so we have gloves everywhere. You know, mainly they'll do their own like chicken rub, and then they'll do it themselves, just because that's quite an easy thing to do, and then we'll put it on the barbecue, temp everything.
Oh, nice.
Because again, it's not just throw in the fire and hope for the best,
No.
you know. So I'm always giving them a watchful eye. But it is interactive, and they can ask questions all through the day. But what I find is most of them just want to kind of have that wicked picture of the butter dripping on
immersive
the steak,
experience,
and then like,
and
it's got to the point where I've done something, I put butter on something, they're like, oh, I want to take a picture of that. So now I'm like, please, now's the time to do a picture. And I got the good lighting, I've got this, so I've kind of become an influencer in my own right of just doing it. And you know, like I said, I think most influencers will be like, hey, I've done these ribs, look how nice they are, do them yourself. And people are like, I don't want that. Where I can go, I've just done these ribs, they're on my next menu, come and get it. So they can see it, eat with their eyes, and then they get it. So I think that's where I've kind of blown up a bit, because they can. It's just me. It's just me in the kitchen. I'm not going, you need this £25,000 bit of kit. It's just like, throw that in there, put that in there, do this, you can do it. It's the everyman's kind of barbecue, you know.
I love that. And let's talk about your branding, Mattys Chop Shop, and I love my gift. He's brought a gift in for us. Thank you.
Never turn up empty-handed. That's what I've always been told. So,
that's kind.
So yeah, the kind of merch side was just an accident. I think through my background in music, always having merch.
Yes.
I'd always try and push it. I've got I've got hundreds of T-shirts in my attic of my bands where nobody wanted them. Where now I can't produce them enough. You know, I'd put an apron on or a T-shirt, and people are like, oh, wait, you know, can I get one of them?
Yeah.
And I just made it for myself because I wanted that branding.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. So I put up a pre-order, and I think I've done about 200 aprons now. Like,
Oh, that's
and they're all like
amazing.
custom. They can get names on them. They can get patches added. They can do whatever, you know.
Oh, I love it.
So and companies have now seen them and been like, ooh, can you do us some? So I've started doing like batches of 20 for companies.
Brilliant.
And, you know, people who just want, so yeah. So
You're in
that kind of-
demand.
honestly, I can't do them enough. I sold so many at my one school that the next school, they had to, I was like,
Had to pre-order or something.
I was like, yeah, I had to like just throw one of them. It was like, oh, wear a tea towel, mate. It'll be fine. Like, it was just anything ragtag
Yeah.
just to put it together.
Yeah.
But it just shows how in demand it is.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
yeah, it's just a whole other side of stuff. And people are now pre-ordering stuff, saying like, oh, I'd love to have one of these. And again, it's stuff that you can't get, like spritz bottles. And it's got to the point where I've had to like, you know, as good as the merch side is, people have started to like copy stuff of mine. So I've had to go through like trademarking and
That's the thing,
and that's
isn't
the
it?
problem, you know. And they say it's flattery, but it's like
Oh,
that's a
no,
lot of time and hard work, and
yes, your
it's
brand.
very much my brand. And the
Absolutely.
moment you see anything of mine, it's kind of Mad Maxy, it's kind of not shiny, it's kind of falling apart.
I love it.
But that's my kind of thing. So
Yeah.
so people have so I've kind of gone into like consultations as well with people where they've gone, I really like this design, can we work on something together? So I've done that for people.
Oh.
So again, it's like it's just mad, like it, you know. And I'm not just going to say no. I'd be like, if I can help them in some way, then
That's
you know, moves
incredible
on,
because
you know.
you're juggling the merch, you're juggling the cookery, you're juggling
The
a
family, yeah.
all from home. It's just like, wow, it's so impressive.
Yeah.
Before we continue, would you like to introduce the next song that you've chosen?
Yes, so this is Marcus King. He's kind of become the lifeline of my kind of brand. So yeah,
I
this
love
is Marcus King, The Well.
That well.
Radio Cardiff. Yeah, you done know.
And we are joined by Mattys Chop Shop. Now, apart from yours, obviously, where's the best barbecue you've sampled? You've been everywhere. Where is the best? We want to know. We want the intel.
So I is one of those. In the UK, the best I've had so far, by far, is Big Nath's Barbecue in Bristol.
Okay.
Yeah, it was when I first started. He's been doing it since 2020. Like he's like the name to go to in Bristol. And I remember just passing through, and we're just like, I'd love to come meet the gang,
Great.
just have some food. That'd be great. And then 2 of his people called in sick that day.
Oh.
So I just said, "Where do you want me?" So
That's
I was like, "Where do you want
kind.
me?" And he's like, "Yep." Pull the pork, go and do that over there, get on those over there, and it was just like synergy.
Lovely.
And then like we've been like chatting ever since then, and we're doing a few things. We're both going to be at places the next couple of weeks,
so you're
so
gonna do
we
something
kind of go
together.
like, hey, it's quite nice to just meet old friends,
Sometimes it's good to do a collab as well when the thing is getting so big.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good to do a collab.
Yeah,
isn't
we've
it?
always said like we both do school, so it'd be good to kind of like jump on each other's because we both have different backgrounds and stuff. But yeah, if I was going anywhere in the UK, it'd be there. I went to I always tried to do things wrong, or maybe not wrong, but not do it the way everyone else does it.
Everyone else does it.
Because if I learn the way it does, it'll just be the same as everyone else's. So I try and do it my way. So I went to New York,
Yeah.
and we had Hometown Barbecue.
Okay.
And that was like, it was a cool little place, and it was almost like, in my head, the intro of Mattys Barbecue Chop Shop. It was like a venue. It was, it played music. It was a bar. It had merch. It had,
I
so it was
love
basically
it.
like it was kind of like, ooh, I want to do something like this. Before I even thought I wanted to do something like this, because this was 2020. This was just before COVID, so this was a while ago. And yeah, fantastic. The guy's, trained, and he'd been all over the world and done these things. So that was lush stuff as well. That was like proper American kind of barbecue. I've not done any of the big Texas ones yet. We're hoping to do that, kind of travel all the way through, and hopefully if there's a barbecue company listening and they want to send me and my family to Texas, we'll take it.
Why not? Yep.
But yeah, that's hometown barbecue in New York, and Big Nath's in Bristol. If anyone gets a chance, but again, he sells out. He's doing amazing. So
That's really kind that you chose somebody that's just across the bridge as well.
But yeah, there's enough.
I love that you're not competitive.
There's
You're really kind.
I every so often
You're
I'll
a
put
great
up,
soul.
I'll put up on my my Instagram story. I'll be like, ask me anything. And this time last year, you probably get 3 or 4 people. Now it's like 50 people, and they're like, "What's your rub? How'd you do this? Where'd you get this?"
Do you really give all your? Do you have a cookbook?
There's one being made at the moment. At the
Excellent.
moment, all my stuff's just on Instagram, so you could just click on
Oh,
the top
bless
and it
you.
just puts everything there. And again, I think Mary Berry said I could give you the tools,
I know.
can give you the
yeah,
recipe,
Yeah.
but it's still not going to make you like me. I'm the
Yes.
secret ingredient.
Yes.
And that's not in a snooty way. It's
No,
just
it's, how it
I've
is.
got the mad passion to do these things.
100%.
And I'd say 2-3 times a week, I'm like getting messages. How'd you do your beans? I tried them. They just didn't come out the same. Or where'd you do your cornbread? How do I get that? Where is this stuff? And I just show them. I tell them. It's nothing secret.
And you're not leaving out a little ingredient.
No. It's just like go
Everything's
for it.
in-
Like
that
if
is
you
so
can
kind.
try and do it, that's great. It was all about home cooking. That's where I
Yes.
started in my home. I'm going to finish in my home. So it was trying to do that. And someone put up saying, there's Hickory's coming in St. Mellons soon, which is kind of like a big barbecue chain.
Right.
And there's Spitfire. That's coming to Cardiff. I think they're opening the end of September.
Yeah.
And they were like, there's other barbecue places. What do you think they're going to be any good? And I said, well, there's obviously a need for it in Wales, otherwise they wouldn't be opening.
100%.
And I was like, we all do different things. We all, we're all going to probably meet up and have a chat and geek out over different smokers and different woods
Yeah.
and where we get stuff from.
Oh, speaking of wood, what's your go-to wood?
So I use hickory, cherry, and oak, all for different things.
Okay.
You can kind of mix and match for different things, but beef can kind of take a bit more kind of beating when it comes to the smoke. So you get a lot more whiskey oak, where kind of chicken, pork, or kind of you want to get the sweeter wood. So
nice.
cherry, apple. But yeah, there's loads of companies I've been working with, and
You use pimento as well, because
we
you
use
do
pimento,
too.
yeah. When we do our jerk, again, and it's not just we're not just downloading a recipe somewhere. It's like, right, let's get the local ingredients, even if it's local to Jamaica. Get the proper stuff.
It's expensive as well.
Yeah. It's not just a case of like, oh, let's just see how close
it's
we can
not
get it.
cheap.
It's like we need to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And people get that.
That's why you're so popular, and that's why you're so loved, and you're a genuinely lovely guy as well.
Oh, I appreciate that.
No,
Thank
you are. Different cuts cook in different ways. What's best for low and slow, and the faster? What's the difference?
So you can there's the internet's so massive now. There's so many different things you can do. You can do pork, spare ribs. People can do them low and slow, and it takes 6 hours. People do them hot and fast, and it takes 2 hours. So again, there's so many different things you can do.
The brisket.
The brisket again. People do. I did a brisket 2 days ago for a private client who just said, "Can you cook me a whole brisket?" And I went, "It's going to cost you, but I can do it."
Yeah.
So I did it, but we did it in about, with the rest in time, probably about 12 hours.
Yeah. See.
So, and that's to me, that's short,
Really?
because otherwise the
Whoa.
brisket will go for 16, 17
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
But it depends on how you do it.
Okay.
It depends on your attention to detail and kind
love
of,
brisket.
it's kind of looking and, and feeling, and, that's the problem with barbecue. You need to see all the meat. You can't just order it from God knows where. You kind of need to see it,
Okay.
because the fat's rendered differently. If you get a pork shoulder and it's all kind of just lean and no fat, it's going to break down differently, so it's a lot of different things that you have to really see it and feel it, and now you just do everything in weight. So
Do you ever send it back on time? Do you ever think,
no,
oh,
so
that's-
I've just got to the point where I've just worked with really good people who know what I
so
want,
right.
and as I've built it, it literally was just going to your local and getting a roll of pork and just hoping for the best.
Okay.
Where now it's like, I know I need this,
Yeah.
and I've gone from a 2 kilogram to maybe doing 25 kilograms when I do an event. So
Yeah.
and that's just one thing, and then you've got to smoke. We did 55 beef ribs.
Ooh.
Usually I'm used to doing maybe 5 racks of ribs. I did 18 racks of ribs.
Wow.
You're doing pork belly bites. You're usually doing 60. I did 250. So it's just
Wow.
like, yeah. And this is all on just my little smokers that I'm doing. And it's, so yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. And again, it's just getting it wrong. It's expensive when you get it wrong, but you can always use it for something else. You know, you can reuse, you can re-smoke it, you can chop it up and put it in your, you know, your mac and cheese or your mash, or give it to your dog or whatever. You know, my dog is he's the best. Yeah, he's the most looked after dog.
yeah.
Tomahawk bones, 4 days. You know, like it's bigger than him.
I'd break my heart if
Yeah.
if
But,
that went wrong.
Yeah, totally.
But if you've got to do that trial and error
Yeah,
process,
totally.
you've got to.
And luckily now I can be the kind of people where they go, oh Matt, I did this. What are your thoughts on that? And I can go, well, in my experience, I've got this, I've done that, and you know, I'm talking to people all over the place, just kind of going, oh, this is a really good idea. This is a really good deal.
Yeah.
People come to me now for like discount codes because I work with companies and.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah, it's just mad. I've kind of become the Welsh,
The guy.
you know, the meat, you know, mechanic, you know.
Yeah, and I love that you're not regimented and you do things your way. You said you don't follow a recipe. When you said that earlier, I was quite shocked because most people stick to something, but you wanted to find your own way.
Yeah,
which
like I said,
just
if
love.
you just follow a recipe, you're just going to do it that way.
You were talking about apple slaw as well. With
Yeah,
your-
yeah. So with
sounds
my
good.
cookbook, it's actually going to be, again, I tried to research, see what's out there, see what's not out there. My first initial idea, which I got told was insane, was to have a cookbook that was blank, and you did it yourself.
Oh.
And you would have a little few bits in there, but they were like, no one's going to buy an empty book. So I was like, right, so we're going to do half of that. So I'm going to do my side of stuff, and then you're going to have a little blank page with some tricks and tips,
I
so you
love
can
that.
add your own version of it.
I love that.
So, and it's going to be very kind of handmade, kind of, you know, all done professionally, but kind of, yeah, scribbles of my designs
Amazing.
and just kind of, yeah, really
Quirky
kind
and
of, yeah.
trendy, yeah.
Yeah. So just,
I love
you know,
that.
it's great. You know, Tom Kerridge has got a wicked book, but when you say barbecue, I don't think Tom Kerridge. You know, in the nicest way, and I love Tom Kerridge. I've
Yeah.
been following him my whole life.
Yeah.
But I'd rather some guy who's living in the smoke
Absolutely.
to go,
yeah.
that's who I want to listen to. And luckily, I'm now in the place where people can listen to me.
Like I said earlier, you're going from strength to strength. You'll be the next celebrity chef. I can see it. I can feel
Well,
it.
let's just hope
Because you're
so,
a
yeah.
lovely guy as well. You deserve that.
I appreciate it.
We're going to come in with a track. We've got Muddy Waters with Hoochie Coochie. Welcome back to the show. We are joined with Mattys Chop Shop, talking all things barbecue. What's the most popular side dish? Is it mac and cheese? Is it your famous cornbread? What is it?
It depends what you ask, really.
Oh,
So yeah, I think my most is the beans,
Okay.
the cowboy pit beans. They and again, there's no secrets. Everything's on my Instagram. And yeah, that's the one where they're like, oh, how'd you get it to that flavor?
Gone nuts for the
And
beans.
again, it's, you know, just smoking it right. It's cooking it as you know, cooking all the waters out. There's all these different things you can do. But yeah, people love the cornbread.
What beans do you use?
So I use kidney beans. Just your kind of, again, these are all
Okay.
just stuff that you can get from, you know, your local supermarket. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just pinto beans, kidney beans, and just some baked beans.
Nice.
But yeah, a lot of extra seasonings. I've got my seasoning is called Mattys Rib Rust because it basically turns everything just, you know, nice bark, nice and crunchy, but then soft in the middle. Then
Oh, lush.
so that kind of everything gets used on that. That's like kind of like my all-purpose. So you get that kind of consistency within the flavors. Then,
So-
but yeah.
Along with your recipes that you put out there, you know, like your rubs and stuff like that with your merch, can people buy that to take away?
When I have takeaways, you can buy
can
the
purchase.
sauces, but that's kind of like when you get your Chinese takeaway and
Oh,
you get like your sauce.
okay,
It's
so
kind
you
of
don't have
so
a-
it's like just like you use it that weekend or you use it on the food that day, because you have to get into a bunch of other kind of hygiene, health stuff, which I'm trying to get my head around at the moment. But people are after it. People are definitely after my sauces.
The allergens are a nightmare.
Yeah, but it's one of those, you know, you have to cater to people, and you know, I'm very much, that's the first thing I ask them the moment they've purchased something. I'm like, any allergies, because that's your lifeline. You
I
know, and
can't see
that's
any
it.
vegans coming to you though, so that's one thing.
You'd be surprised.
You're joking.
Yeah, I've done a few jobs where again, I'd be stupid to, you know.
You, of course. If
Yeah,
they-
I'd be stupid not to. You know, there's a few of the barbecue community are very much like, no vegans, we're only meat. And most people, vegans might not want to come because there's a lot of meat.
Well, yeah,
and they
yeah.
might have that kind of
Outlook.
that outlook, which again, you do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be silly not to do that. It's
So you do offer the vegan?
like you just said, you were surprised where my sauces are vegan. I can do, my beans can be all vegan. And veggie. So like I had a few people who just go, I'm looking for some veggie stuff, and most veggies cooked in a fire are better than some of the meats. Like if you do it properly.
Yes.
So it's one of those where I can easily just throw a bunch of onions in the fire and it's gonna taste better than any of your kind of just your other mates kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd be silly to kind of get rid of a whole section of people eating.
And
so
I know you offer pork, but with just the beef, then would you do like a halal sort of thing?
So again, I've asked a few people have asked for that, and that's just I don't know enough about that, so I would have to just go to a halal butcher's.
Okay.
Everything's going to cook the same. It's just been slaughtered in a special way. That's all.
And obviously cooked separately from the pork.
Yeah. So everything is doable. It's just that want needs to be there, And I've had a few questions, but it's like I'm learning every day.
Yeah.
I've never called myself a pitmaster. Everyone always says, we got Pitmaster Matty on. And I'm like, I've never called myself that because I'm learning every day. And I'm self-taught, so I'll take it if someone gives it to me. But it's never been one of those.
You're open-minded to
the moment I know everything. The moment you think you know everything, you've got to, hang up the apron because you're always going to be learning.
What does the future hold for you as far as would you consider Dragon's Den with your sauces or rubs? Would you want to do anything like that, or have you got a different
possibly.
vision?
A few people have asked if you ever had kind of money injected, what would it be on? And I don't know what it would be on. I don't know what they could invest in. Okay. Sorry, Dragon's Den. Invite me on if you need to, but I got nothing to give other than myself. I'm sure people would like to take pieces of me, but I think the market's quite saturated with sauces and rubs. So again, I'm trying to do something a bit different. So whether it's different packaging, whether it comes with something, so it would almost be like a gift set. So you go to Tesco and Asda right now, and there's 15 barbecue sauces. I don't want to just be another one that fits on the shelf.
Yes.
I want to be we need to go to Mattys to get his stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of trying to get that niche.
Mm-hmm.
People ask if I'm ever going to get my own place. I've already got one.
Exactly.
I don't need to spend another
if it
thing
ain't
on
broke,
a unit.
Don't fix it.
There's so many companies going bust.
100%.
So it's sustainability, and that keeps my prices down, which means I can give it to the people.
Yeah.
And again, we're still in a cost of living crisis.
Yeah, I know.
Tell that to any of my barbecue goers because they're just spending. But again, it's all at the level where you can learn,
grow
and
with
you
your
can,
business, and then when you decide you want to take it somewhere.
Yeah.
We were just talking celebrity chefs. My cousin, his mother always listens in, Beverly O'Neill. Hi, say hi to Bev.
Hi, Bev.
He just produced the Fortune House at the moment. He produces his own shows. So if you're listening, ask Adam if he wants to take Matty's Chop Shop somewhere because he's very interested. In
a TV show would be
TV
wicked.
Show. You could join up with the guy from Bristol and be
big names.
the
I'd love
barbecue
to
boys.
Traveling. I miss a lot from the touring days. So yeah. Like I said, sign me up. I'll travel around. I'll do anything.
People should. You're exploding all over the place. Your social media, you're glowing up everywhere. Matt Hebbitt's been nabbed you, so it won't be long before someone else nabs you. So Adam O'Neill, if you are listening, I'd jump on that bandwagon, baby.
Before
my
someone
cousin.
else does.
Yep. I am now going to introduce the next track. It's by an up-and-coming indie rock band, 4-Act Riot. We recently saw them in Camden last week, which was amazing. They were playing in the Dingwalls. This is Crisis.